brief look over the Aries archetype by itself, and then how you can maximize this particular transit in a magical way. Definitely hit the like, smash that right away. Hit that smash button. Thank you. All right. I'm going to do the best I can to give real life personal examples of how this matters. This is one of the most game changing moments that actually exist. And I'm going to tell you how and why, which is dope. Let me get a little camera wipe. I got my computer set up on the other side so I can see the charts at the same time and do this. So Venus in Aries, this is a lot of raw and primitive energy. Okay, I think that's one of the most important things to start off and understand from the jump. Raw and primitive energy. Before I get in deeper, this transit is an explosion. You see it in the title. It is about your own personal courage. You see it. It's there. And it's full circle pretty amazing. I mean, definitely come check out the angelic Reiki session that I'm hosting on the Eclipse. Game changer. Is my internet not working right now? I feel like my internet is not working. No internet. Oh, that sucks. Okay, I think we're back on. I think we're working now. Okay, cool. Yeah. We're working. I was like, yo, come on. Okay, so take a moment to vote, obviously in the chat. Take a moment to go ahead and hit that like, smash that button. We really appreciate it. Smash that like button. Thank you all for getting me up and above the 2,000 mark. Really appreciate that for that. The first one is the posture. The second one, allow your belly to expand and create that brace. The third one, relax your jaw. Any of the tension in your teeth, just let it go. As your shoulders relax and drop down. Notice any of the micro shifts in your body, especially as it responds to the sound. I want you to tap into your heart. Understand that Aries is exalted in the heart. It's exalted in the sun. The sun is the heart. Here's why. In the first video, part 1, if you check it out, it's only 19 minutes long. It'll give you Venus in Aries in its short frame. So you'll understand that the lower levels of it sure is impulsive, but we talked about how impulsivity, which is some of the lower level energies of Aries itself, is not necessarily bad. In fact, it's very good, but it'll be very shocking because if you've never valued being able to just take a spark of energy and move forward, push something forward without having to know what comes next, you have to understand that Aries is a masculine energy from the start. What does that mean? Masculine energy will always have men. Look at any men in your life. Look at the father, 3-3 on screen. Look at your father, your uncle, any male, your boyfriend. There's always a point in the male's life where they will be in the space of the unknown. They just don't know what's coming next. And a lot of men break in these time frames because it's like, if I don't know where I'm going, if I don't have a purpose and direction, a male oftentimes will just become overly stagnant. And then they become literally a bum. They then become the one that just finds their escape in things like, and I don't want to be overly judgmental, but they'll find their escapes in things like video games, smoking cigarettes, you know, going to the bar consistently, blowing all their money. There's no purpose, there's no direction. And when you don't have purpose and direction with a masculine energy, or for men, Aries is a masculine sign, and it's primitive in its nature, which is very important. It's primitive. What does that mean? It does not have the conscious mind to make decisions until it evolves its consciousness away from those more unconscious parts, right? Understand that Mars is the owner. Mars is the planet of our unconscious assertion in action, which counts who? The feminine of the unconscious is Scorpio, which is why some of those, because Scorpio is owned by Mars as well, traditionally. Excuse me. Which is why some of those muddy, murky waters of Scorpio, I have plenty of other videos out there, check those. This is not that one today. While some of those muddy waters of Scorpio, aka those turbulent emotions, often get tucked under the rug because it's not fully aware and conscious of what it's doing and when it hides things as a feminine energy. And it's part of its destruction is to allow that implosion, that action, that force, everything Aries, aka Mars, god of war. Smash that thumbs up button if you have not yet. There's an angel Reiki class that I'm running and hosting for the Lunar Eclipse event coming up next weekend. On Saturday, I'm going to help you close doors with Archangel Michael, which would be super dope. So just check that event. It's pinned up in the live chat. If you're in the live chat, take your vote. Venus in Aries. Here we go. I want to have you guys look at some of this grounding food. I literally have an oatmeal here. Some craisins, apricot jam, apples, pecans, Brazil nuts. Why do I bring that up? Because Aries is the root chakra in its own ways. It's where we ground. It's the actual tongue of the serpents. It's the serpent's tongue. It's not the teeth or the venom. And this has to do with Rahu. This Rahu in Aries transit and K2 in Libra is telling us that we are stepping away from codependent relationships. We are stepping into our most individual and primitive self, where we can become more sustainable on ourselves. So you will notice in this transit with Venus in Aries, as well as Jupiter going into Aries sooner than soon, you will notice very well. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, for those of you out there. Let me drop that in the comments. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. To all my women out there, all my moms. My sister is a mom, first year. Happy Mother's Day to her. My mom's a mom. A lot of my clients are moms. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Absolutely, Fatima, you got it. Happy Mother's Day. Absolutely. Thanks for showing up. Venus in Aries is going to be dope. And I'm going to tell you why it has to happen in sequential order. Venus went to Aries first. Jupiter is in Aries next. Mars will come in Aries last. And it has to happen in that order. First off, because Mars in Aries is very volatile. It's very violent, quite frankly. It could easily be violent. Unless you have it like in a 12th house, maybe. Then you may not understand how you are, right? We have to understand how to value the lower levels of Aries energy, because Aries is in its fall in Venus. It's debilitated. One of the two. I get the language mixed up. Thank you, Kaisha. Happy Mother's Day, girl. Honestly, you know, if you're in the comments, drop a Mother's Day symbol of love and just drop a heart. I'll drop a heart and let this energetically carry weight for each mother out there who sees this live or who doesn't at all, but they just get the energy. I'm going to drop my heart like that. Bam. Understand that the normal signs of Venus is ruled by Taurus and Libra, a masculine and a feminine energy. right? Masculine being Libra, opposite of Aries. Libra right now in Vedic astrology is K2. K2 is in Libra. This is a very important year in 2022. The dragon's head is in Aries, aka where we're going. The dragon's tail, aka North Node, is the dragon's head, where we're going. It's in Aries. We're going in a new direction into ourself. Keyword is into and inwards to ourself. This is a transit where meditation and martial arts are my #1 and highest recommendation. Martial arts, more specific, because Aries is such an explosive energy. I am in Aries. I can talk to you about this. It's such an explosive energy that it can be completely calm, and the next second it can just blow. But in the next second it could just be calm. It's an infant. So the same way you see an infant will just and then the infant's like giving you the evil eye, and then the infant's like and then the infant's like these how quick the emotions will go through you. Where I recommend with this Rahu in Aries, aka North Node, the dragon's head, where we're collectively going as part of destiny in Vedic astrology specifically. It is to go inwards because on the outward lower energies, understand that the sun is naturally Leo. Aries is exalted in the sun. I talked about this yesterday with Exorcising and Pisces. So you have to check part 1 to understand fully of this, because I'm skipping a little bit because I'm just depending on people to understand what happened in part 1, because the video was only 19 minutes. So it's just short and I had to cut it. So it is what it is. You have to understand exaltations doesn't necessarily mean, look at me, I'm the best, I'm the strongest. And I thank you for those likes and those thumbs up. Yes, happy Mother's Day to both of y'all. Thank you. Tap, tap. Leo is obviously linking back to the story of Narcissus. I don't know how to say the name. The story of Narcissus. And, you know, that moment when Narcissus had to go ahead and look into the pond and see his reflection and be able to see in all the ways that he chose his superficial, you know, looks and mentality to just selfishly live in his own skin. Now, there's something positive to this. What's positive to this? Venus in Aries will allow you to take initiative and assert yourself in the ways you value yourself. So if you are in an abusive relationship, this is a great transit for you. But understand that it will still cause and come at war. It will come at a certain pain. You will have to value the conflict as well. Venus is values, but it's also our addictions. So we have to value the ways in which we assert ourselves in this new identity. The new moon in Aries that just passed in April was really the kickstart of this, where you got this new self, this new identity. That brings us to valuing who we are. And we've had time to actually integrate that into part of our actual character and identity at this point. But we have to be mindful, because Aries is still an infant, where the addictive side, the exaltation of the sun, being in Aries, the exaltation of that young, youthful, vibrant spark of light, which sparks our soul. Literally, that's what it does. Aries sparks the soul before it gets there. It's the light to the dark. I'll say the soul's Cancer, but I'm going to skip that for a moment. In those lower levels, that exaltation is very selfish to the point where it's destructive. It thinks that it is ahead of every and all things, and it will choose itself in the way that Narcissus did in the story of Odysseus, where eventually he had to go ahead and see the mirror. This is the transit where you have to continuously look at the mirror. The mirror looks like, in this scenario, sound therapy, meditation, martial arts, looking to control the mind, but through physical force and assertion. I highly recommend, if you're not doing martial arts, go running. You have to do things that are vigorous and get used to valuing that vigorous energy. Because if you do not, here's what will happen. You will accidentally burn somebody that's very important to you. You will accidentally burn somebody in a way where it happened so quick that you had no control. We have to look at our inner self and learn to value that. Because in the opposite of Aries here, what do we have? What do we have in the opposite of Aries? Libra. So this is when we actually become Venus, and Libra is so polished where obviously it's a little bit superficial as well. And it can choose certain relationships based off of the status that it can bring and give them. But Aries is way too, in its high form, okay, in its more godly form, its more evolved form, it's way too honest and abrupt and authentic to do such a thing. So what am I saying? When you come across fake relationship dynamics, you have to be very mindful of blowing up. This is a transit explosion. I typed it in the title. You have to be careful of blowing up. You have to be careful of being so courageous, so, invested in yourself that you ignore the presence and the importance of others, because you don't build an empire ever, which Aries is like the emperor. So it builds empires, right? But that emperor has never built an empire throughout all of history with his bare hands or her bare hands alone. So we have to understand that Venus in Aries is allowing us to start to value the conflict that will naturally come as a part of you being your most primitive and unique self. If that resonated, go ahead and drop a thumbs up and tell me something in the comments that you want to hear. Tell me something that did that resonate? Conflict. It requires conflict. We have to understand that. Aries is a conflict type sign. It actually doesn't even learn without conflict. It needs a challenge. All masculine energy, even outside of astrology, masculine energy needs challenge in order to grow. Without challenge and conflict, it does not grow. It becomes stagnant and basically, futile in its progressive approach to life. Its progressive approach with itself. This is a good energy to start valuing being progressive with who you are. Yes. But be mindful of the addiction of Venus, and when it goes into exaltation of now what? Because Venus is not just our value system, it's our addictions. So the addictive side of Aries energy is power, raw, primitive power that you get to use to carve who and however you want and need to be. And want and need for Aries is the same. It's an infant. What it wants is what it needs. What it needs is what it wants. And in that addiction format of Venus, okay, we easily can get ourselves quickly into trouble. And trouble in this instance looks like forgetting that fire was given to man or woman in both by the gods. It is not a human design. So what happens when humans are now using the fire that was given by gods, stolen from heaven and given to humans? It is going to go very quickly from something that was designed to purify and bring light into the world to something that can easily be destructive and bring anarchy. Yo, my breakfast is so banging. I highly recommend you ground. With this Venus and Aries transit, we're going to be required, because Rahu is in Aries, we're going to be required to see the inner self. And I'm going to tell you why. I want you to think about the Aries symbol. You can see the Aries symbol right now, right? I can copy and paste it. I want you to tell me what you think this looks like if you take a more objective mind. And I'm going to help you understand this. Thanks for sharing your breakfast. I know. Y'all got to see it. I could show you now, but I got to show you in the beginning because I'm already digging in. It was all pretty. If you look back at the beginning of the video. Kundalini rises up the spine, right? Kundalini rises up the spine. Okay, so what are we saying? What am I saying? If Kundalini, I gotta crack a window. If Kundalini rises up the spine, this means that Aries is starting first, aka at the bottom. What we need to feel grounded, safe, and secure. And we will begin to, with Venus and Aries, value and potentially become addicted to those measures and means of security, fallopian tubes. Ah, I like you. That's genius. Instantly, I thought of sex organs as genius. You know why she's genius for that? Thank you for those thumbs up. You know why she's so genius for that? Because Aries in its most primitive form, in human form, is sex. It is sex. It is raw, unadulterated sex. It is the use of its sexual organs. Okay? Mind you, Scorpio, the feminine energy of Mars, is what? The sex origins, the sex origins, which is funny because I said that and it's like, it's absolutely right. It's right on point. It is the origins of sex. Aries, how do you take your head to come through first in the world? You put your Johnson inside of a birth canal and a process happens, right? Where a baby is born. The first head comes through. So thank you, Fatima. That was genius. And you brought a brand new point because it really does just represent sex. And I was going there actually, but in a different way. Because I was talking about the Kundalini energy, which is your spine now, right? It was your spine. And your spine, how do you rise that Kundalini energy? It's your sexual energy. The second one up is who? Taurus. What is Taurus? Opposite of Scorpio. Scorpio is what? Sex. Again, literally it goes back to Scorpio again. And because we have the South Node in Scorpio, guess what's happening? All of these secrets are being revealed about things like Kundalini energy and how it's used through sexual energy. Because if you don't say Scorpio, opposite going back to Taurus, the second zodiac sign, the next one up from the insertion up. And I'm going to explain Aries a little bit better. I'm going to go back downwards. Taurus is hedonistic pleasures, one of them being sex. Taurus is like, look, just give me a big check, give me a nice comfortable house, give me a stable home. All I need is that for myself. I have these possessions. And it's like a part of what I need for my hedonistic pleasure is sex. Because after Aries, it starts with this, right? Aries is the opposite of Libra. We have to understand, what is Libra? Marriage and partnerships. Okay. On the superficial side, outside the house. But Aries at the start of it, this primitive aged baby, when it first explores and it discovers reproduction, sex, it is not the snake itself. It is the tongue, not the venom of the teeth from the snake, but it's the tongue. And look at the tongue, look at the Aries symbol. I'm going to type it in again. It is the part that mesmerizes its prey so that its prey can be lured in. Aries has the tongue, we can even say the charm of Libra opposite end, but on primitive side, where Libra can think with a conscious mind about will I or will I not actually have sex with this person. And if like you really try to just go ahead and have sex with a Libra would just know your game, your end game up front. Aries might not necessarily know it, but it might still be just charming you unconsciously. Why? Because Mars is making Aries unconscious. Mars is an unconscious planet. It's one of the best things I've ever discovered about Mars. That's why also Scorpio is unconscious in the ways that Scorpio will tuck things under the rug. It doesn't understand that it's doing that. Same with Aries. It doesn't understand that it's this new spark of life and that it's a leader, not up front. It has to grow into this. So up front, it is the tongue that mesmerizes and charms the pants off of the next person. Male or female, doesn't matter. And it's primitive. So during this Rahu and Aries transit, there's going to be a lot of babies this year. I'm going to call that out loud. Because there's not going to be a lot of thinking. You know, it's almost kind of like, oh, we're free, we're out of quarantine, I can go to the club, I can do this. And it's like insert, babies. But it's not just about babies, it's more about choosing the superficial, because Libra is very superficial until it evolves. When it evolves, it's a whole nother little magic, but we're not going to talk about that today because that's K2. This is where we're stepping away from. We're stepping away from, because K2 is the South Node. We're stepping away from superficial relations where, oh, we looked good on paper. Marriages are shattering right now because of people that chose them. 7-7 on screen. Boom, the wisdom right there. It's just objective and it's just truth. It's fair, it's balanced. The wisdom has come through. It's being revealed that many people have chose superficial relationships. I'm not going to say that this is the one for the minute, but I looked at Will Smith and Jada Smith's chart for examples for the moment. 6-6 on screen family. And they both have Venus in Aries. And they have it in the 10th house. So both of them have chosen, in some way, shape, or form, the more superficial parts. Will could have been like, yo, Jada, you just look bad as hell. And Jada could have been like, oh, Will, you're going to actually boost my career by me being and living and dating you and having children. Which is why you see some of the weirdness in that story. So I'm going to leave that story separate. But they both have Venus in Libra in the 10th house. So we're stepping away from these more superficial forms. 10th house being their public career and status. So they would literally date because it would boost their career and their status. Now, opposite of that, we're stepping away from such things to actually marry somebody because they have the money to secure our what? Basic needs. Literally, opposite being Aries, our basic, most raw needs. Good morning. What up, dude? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Anybody in here, definitely hit the like button. Drop that for me. I see 88 on screen. I'm seeing 88 a lot. And check out, I would like my glasses. And check out the pinned link up at the top comment. I'm doing an angelic Reiki class, helping you to close doors. Some of these doors will be off of some of these sexual relationships that you've closed. That you've maintained. How many of us in here in a chat, and I can easily raise my hand, I'm just going to drop the Aries symbol. I have definitely had moments where, like more so in my youth at this point, where I've maintained certain sexual relationships just because, like, not even because I like the person, not even because of anything special, if I'm being honest, just because. And we're stepping away from stuff like that. And we're stepping into the new form of our identity, which is more aware. We're more now consciously aware, especially with the moon in Leo today. We're more now consciously aware. I do appreciate y'all for those thumbs up of what are these more superficial type relationships that we've maintained, especially in the sexual department. And right now with the North Node in Taurus, we're moving towards more simplistic, harmonious, and sensitive partnerships that are stable, that does not bring up anxiety, and that are not extreme in nature, opposite being South Node in Scorpio. We're stepping away from the extremities of these relationship dynamics where you would stay in some kind of abusive relationship just because the nanny is good, okay? Or you're staying in abusive and psychologically verbal situation just because the person has money. Y'all feel me? I've been celibate in order to attract something more intimate. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm divorcing them out of my womb and spirit. Yes, I'm happy you said that because today the yellow dragon has come to me and it came very clear. And I say that because I put up a video that I'm going to try to drop for y'all right now, just today, about the Leo moon. I did it. I said it says Leo risings, but I dropped it today and I gave you an exercise to help you basically exorcise these spirits that you've attached to in your womb. I literally touched the womb. Literally, I was on the womb. And this symbol, this is Hove. Allow me to reintroduce myself. It's Hove. But now what y'all maybe didn't know is that the beginning of this symbol is this here. And this has been throughout time and history a symbol of power. It's a mantra. It's a power mantra. And this is done, notice, even in FBI offices or in a police interrogation, they'll do this, right? It's a position and a symbol of power. So I'm gonna skip that for now. I have that video. I'll be able to drop and give it to you now. Because my point behind saying that was, and I'm dropping it here. Wa la 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 la. My point of saying that and even showing you that symbolism is because I want to have you, actually, you know what? It's worth showing you right now while y'all live here. But this would be the full exercise that I want you to check out later. But it's really worth showing you live because I had to get my glasses anyways. All right. So I'm going to take 4 fingers, all of you right here. I tell you, Elijah's spirit been blocking for 2 years. I know whoever will get it, be worthy. Get it, get it. Get it. Say it's the worthy. You gotta get the worthiness. You gotta really see what it really is about. Not everybody can have parts. Take 4 fingers, all of you that's on here right now. I want you to come here. When you start your pinky, put your fingers together. You don't gotta squeeze it tight or anything like that, just normal. And right here now, this is your Manipura, okay? This is the city of hidden gems. Very closely linked to Scorpio in some ways, but Leo more specifically. It's the city of hidden gems. This is the Manipura. Hey, what's up, Jamie? How you doing? AKA your solar plexus chakra right here. So now there, I had people just on this just on this video prior, I just typed it, Leo rising, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it because this is about Venus and Aries, so I'm going to get back to the message. I'm going to come here, and you're going to put this power back within yourself and within your womb, okay? Like I said, this is the original power mantra. Now, I could do this, sure, but for simplicity, I'm here with it. If you go counterclockwise, I love when y'all talk in the chat, by the way. It makes me really happy. If I go counterclockwise, this is clockwise. So if I go counterclockwise, I am now deprogramming what has previously been trapped or plagued my ambition, my fire, my willpower, okay? What has made me power hungry, which is the negative downside effects of your solar plexus chakra or the Manipura. When you use those gems that you find that were hidden right prior, mind you, Manipura translates to the city of hidden gems. You then can deprogram. In what ways did you allow yourself to become power hungry and, like, let's say, take on that job which really paid you a lot of money, but it really killed your fun and your joy? And then we go clockwise and we reprogram this now with the things that you want. And let's just say, for example, I want to have pure, enlightened, and like fiery, fun jobs that are more based in passion, okay? That are more based in joy. If this sense of ambition is not driven by what brings me joy, then I really don't want it. So whatever, you kind of say and do what you want for that particular message. I find it funny because right now my dice actually say, look at this. It said Leo. They just were sitting there. It says Leo, 6th house. So joy for work. Literally, look at that. That's so crazy. Literally, that's crazy. Yo, absolutely, Fatima. See, you're coming to the retreat, so y'all about to get the whole different kind of work. Like, you can, if I can do this on the internet, just imagine what happens in person. It's about to be game changer. So this is Leo, right? Creative expression, the same solar plexus chakra I'm talking about, and this is 6th house work. This is the daily grind. This is the daily habits and routines that we do in the space of our creative efforts and pursuits. Okay, literally. Now here's what's ironic. It's here with Uranus. That's crazy, right? So literally, Taurus and Uranus shaking up our stability, shaking up what we value for money, going back to Venus and Aries. We're taking now this new fresh start, and the things that I would really like my glasses because my eyes are starting to like. Venus and Aries is bringing us glasses. What are you? Got them. Okay. Now I'm in business. My eyes were starting to squint and do some weird things. All right, here we go. I don't know if y'all can hear the wind, but it's pretty vicious today over here. Oh, these are really dirty. Okay. Yo, I hear you. Yo, when I tell you, Fatima, you mad funny for bringing it back to the hood. I really love that comment. I'm not even gonna stump with you because, you know, I had a moment today where I just was like working out this morning, and I really needed to get this like, I needed to just transmute these demons around me. If I'm being honest, like I had to recognize very clearly. I'm like, wow, you know, some of the people I love the most, like they're just evil. I mean, I just can't play in any other different way. Like some of the people I love the most are evil. It is what it is. It is what it is. But my point behind it is, when you say I'm about getting ready to bring it back to the hood, I had to have like a little hood workout today. I literally had to have like a little hood workout. Like, you know, I'm happy as hell. Like I was in the park by myself. I had these moments that I'm doing my push-ups and like, yeah, I'm like, and I just was like, it was awesome. I really needed it. It was great. Let me check your comments. And that's why the angels and my ancestors led me to this video today. Boom. I love it. Receive it. That was a gem. I'm grateful and I love you for it. Yes, absolutely. And you know, with that said, like, take on a, because a video is only 9 minutes long. I highly recommend that y'all look at this later. It does say Leo rising, but later I recommend y'all look at this. This is just fueling my fire though. Yes, it is fueling my fire. All this wildness, like, yo, I had to really recognize, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all something, you know, it's a little personal to me, but like, there's a reason why this Venus in Aries had to have a part 2. Because yesterday, you know, I was doing part 1, and the simplicity of it is, it had to end. And part of why when that video ended, part of what happened on the back end is me being part of my most unique self, even within the family. Because understand, today is Leo moon, right? And we're going over activations of Aries and Chiron. Chiron and Aries is healing our identity, but this comes at conflict. Aries is a sign of conflict. You have to, wow, green, something just dropped out of the sky. Something with our heart just fell. Whew. Somebody's heart just dropped when I said that. Somebody got triggered on the other side, even if it was quietly. We're going through a healing, a deep wounded healing, things that we cannot actually ever heal about our identity, but it will become a part. Somebody doesn't want me to talk. I'm going to talk, god damn it. Excuse me. Sometimes you got to play with sound. When I tell you, evil just does not like sound. I almost don't know too many things that have a bad spirit that can withstand sound. Yeah. I want y'all to just take a moment to relax your jaw. Good. Tap on your face. Tap on the top of your chest. I had a family function. It was hard, but I had to go through it. Yo, I hear you. So yesterday, you know, part 1 ended at like 19 minutes. And, you know, the most painful part of that is Leo moon really was like, P, you must be. Because family is Cancer, 4th house, right? But Leo is like, who are you as an individual in the family? And part of who I am as an individual in the family is like, I don't even want to really say this like live, if I'm being honest, but just for simplicity, like I think it's just one of the most understood things. Like one of those roles is like, look, I am just a shaman, point blank period. There's not really any ways I can say it in simplicity without getting into detail. I am a dragon. I am a wizard. I am a whole bunch more things. That's just the simplicity. And as a part of that, I am a being of light, literally pure light. And so me not saying the truth out of my mouth, I have a Mercury in Aries, literally. Me not saying the truth out of my mouth, I am in Aries. I'm in Aries moon, I'm in Aries. Like me not, I have to speak the truth. And the truth, especially when moon is in Leo, will shine light on the darkest of places, aka South Node in Scorpio, which will reveal private secrets. Now, I have Cancer in the 8th house, which means what? Just my very existence. Cancer is an individual sign. My very existence, my very knowledge of my own emotional space creates an aura of emotional intelligence where In the family, my emotions can pierce the unconscious mind of my family. This is a part of what makes me the black sheep, because as an Aries, I'm also going to speak on these things. Now, the most painful thing that happened, and this is where Chiron is in Aries, because it will cause you conflict and pain. One of the most painful things was the simplicity that I realized that by me being my most authentic self, I'm likely to never see my nephew. And I'm gonna leave the other details out. I'm likely to never see my nephew pretty much again. And it was already like that prior. Even though my entire trip to come here to the US is to see my nephew. My entire trip. And part of this is I have to embrace that my nephew is just going to have to come seek me out when he's 15 years old, 21 years old, 30. And that I'm going to have to lead continuously as my unique, authentic self and really detach a little bit from this world. Because this is a part of my most unique self. Like, my South Node is in Cancer, 8th house. Like, I'm already separating from family towards constructing my own values as a part of my own family. And like, for me, the simplicity of this part of my family is those of you that watch here right now. That is the simple reality of Leo moon and Leo being the tribe. Who is the tribe of creatives? Who is the tribe who express the truth, the light of each and everything, boldly and courageously? And this is what brings us to Aries and Venus. You will boldly and courageously express, primitively, without any chill button, your individual truth. Now, as a part of this, Rahu is in Aries, which means that snake's head or that snake's tongue, people will choose external validation instead of checking in with their internal light. And you have to be mindful of this, because as I speak this out loud, Chiron in Aries causes conflict. And Venus in Aries is saying we have to value that conflict and be mindful as we attach to our inner flame to not get addicted to that light. Because like I said, Venus is addictions at its height. Let's check in with each other. Anyone can be an agent. Yo. I just had to embrace, like, damn, like, there's evil people that I love. It is what it is. But the difference is we played out our part authentically, and I integrate in our integrity. Absolutely. Integrity is critical right here, because Pluto in Capricorn is currently in retrograde. Peace Dealer said this, and he really was being truthful. He was being honest when he said it. If you step out of your integrity right now, you have to be very careful, because you can die. You can die. Boom, leading even though you're the youngest. Yep. Progressively rising. Self-knowing the fourth. Stepping away from whatever the father did or didn't do for the fourth and South Node, as well as the fertile soil that in your past life you were the king, or your woman, the queen of. You're stepping away from that past life fertile soil, which means towards a career as a cosmic agent of change and unity for Fatima, with that placement you just spoke about. Literally. When I say a cosmic agent, I mean Aquarian. I mean, like, you would be represented in a sense as somebody almost on, like, you know, this almost sounds kind of corny in its own way, but like somebody like on the cosmic council honestly. You're going to be like a cosmic council figurehead. Somebody who everyone knows has all of the intelligence of the cosmos. And I know you're a Virgo, so you basically really do have all those receipts. Yeah, Elijah, in the fourth, those wounds are not just a family, but it's mostly with the father. So this would tell me probably about, you know, masculine energy. Being assertive and progressive with those wounds in the family. And thank you. Keep them coming, because this is Chiron and Aries. This is us in Venus and Aries. This is us valuing what those wounds are. Kaisha, Cancer 8th, you're right. You're way more tapped in. Bang, Aquamoon, gang. So, Venus and Aries. I have about 30 minutes before I got my next AstroTherapy session with somebody one-on-one. So, I'm going to try to wrap this message. Got about 30 minutes to nail it. Let's do it. What comes next? Why is this important? Why does this happen before the expansion of Jupiter? Because if we do not get a hold of the addictions to follow our primitive pursuits, let's say something like sex. Right now, this transit is trying to challenge you. And some people will get got. And you have to understand that as a part of that, some people will get the venom. This will look like an STD. What's up, Samir? If you do pursue superficial or meaningless relationships, especially sexual relationships in this transit, first off, you'll be highly successful. You'll be highly successful. Oh, damn. What was that? Four? That's all I got. 448. I don't know what that was about. Maybe it'll come later. You will be highly successful if you pursue sexual relationships at a superficial level, at a level where you're just like, you just want to get a nut. You're going to win. Now, with that said, you're also likely to probably have a baby or have STDs. And it might literally be a part of the karma, because we're being asked to take peace and sensuality as the height, and the aim, literally like the direction of our relationships. Deeply intimate bonds. Ah, that's what it was. I got it. It's for us to build deeply intimate bonds. That was the 448. It's for us to build deeply intimate bonds. Somebody where we can actually go through and we can trust, even with like the deeper intimate levels on like money management, and we can trust with our more private nature, our more private selves. This sensual approach into relationships, less on the superficial side, will basically grant us peace over pleasure. And understand that part of peace is to step away from the big city lights in a way. This is kind of Venus and Aries. It's like, it's helping us value ourselves in a way that, to value yourself, you have to almost step away from the external, because the thing is, the snake tongue that I was talking about, Aries, which is the ability to charm your pants off, Venus and Aries, it's just the tip of the tongue. It's not the actual teeth, it's not the venom, it's not the body, right? It's not even the body. It's the tip of the tongue, which means what? We can't stay and pursue. We could, because it's actually gaming you to do such a thing. The primitive things that essentially hold us back from our inner light, gaining the attention, the appropriate attention that it needs as an infant to guide yourself. As an infant in this scenario is you and your brand new identity back in April 1st, Aries new moon, which is fully activated now, requiring you to heal. You're going to likely heal by having to reveal certain secrets, even if you're not sexually active now, but to address certain wounds that you've had in certain sexual endeavors in your youth, where you were primitively just checking them off the list, you know? You're going to be addressed with some of that stuff. And you're going to be required to reveal some of those secrets. Ego makeover, yeah. And it's going to happen, and sometimes it's going to be painful because you're going to be dressed to come back through that. Let me give you a prime example. One of my I'm going to leave out the details, but somebody I really care about, sometimes I hate the internet. I can't even always say what I want to say. All right. You know, people that I really care about, they had stories that they brought back up that reminded me of stories where, you know, I made more primitive decisions out of hurt and pain and anger, you know? And as a part of that, it's like I had karma to pay. And that karma in that instance came in the form of the clap. Now, thank God the clap is something very curable. But it was a lesson very early for me to recognize, oh no, I won't fall again, not in that hole. And with that being said, like, you know, I'm dating a girl back in Mexico. And so part of this healing is that I need to go ahead and have conversation with her up front in the early stages where it's like, listen, if you're going to go ahead and take your moments to step outside the relationship, that's honest to God, okay, and that's cool. But here's what I need first, from the clear masculine presence. I need you to go ahead and have that conversation with me up front. And at bare minimum, if I stay, if I go, it becomes my choice to do so. It becomes my choice to do so. But I'm not going to be catching nothing, point blank period, when we can just have this communication moment. And that looks like, let's just be honest. You're not tied here, you never will be. But as a part of that, I need a certain level and amount of respect where, because you're not tied here, it actually comes with just talk. Tell me what's up front. And if you go, you go. If I go, I go. You stay, if it's something in between, it is what it is, but at least we have the opportunity to talk. So this is about Venus and Aries, us valuing the social relationships. If Aries is the darker side of Libra, it's about valuing certain social relations, social ideals and values in your relationship formats, that you are embracing the death of your old ego, the death of the more primitive parts, and allowing yourself to go into step into the evolution of Aries energy, which is emperor type energy. This is where the dragons have kind of been coming back up. Reminding the yellow dragon is, and you'll see that video down there, but the yellow dragon was oftentimes respected as like emperor type energy. An emperor type energy, one, it leads with an iron fist in a sense, but the right leader Valuing the right leadership also is leading with an iron fist, yet and however with compassion. And I had an AstroTherapy session. Shout out to Earl. I got to meet him in real life, which is really cool. And, you know, he said one of the things that I liked about you when I first checked your channel, before he even booked a session with me, was apparently that I'm a pretty firm person, but yet and still I have compassion. And, you know, it was really cool to hear that from him, because I can easily see time frames where, like, I really didn't give a fart about anything except for myself. Not even in a way where I was trying to be a dickhead. I just was also in uninvolved areas where it's like I didn't know that other people mattered. And this is kind of some of the unconscious parts of Mars. Being Scorpio and Aries, the rulers, both Scorpio and Aries have these unconscious behavioral patterns. If you're brand new on here, go ahead and take a like, take a thumbs up. I'm going to pull a card. The peacock just happens to be at the top of the deck. All right, this is literally talking to inner beauty. Okay, literally it's talking inner beauty, and it's an air sign. We all seen the peacock's feathers, and it's gorgeous, but it doesn't even reveal that gorgeous nature of it, right? Not up front, like it has to actually open for you to see that beauty. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 flowers on top. Okay, this is the psychological transformation coming from our higher self. When we take that energy, that Venus and Aries energy starts at the bottom, valuing the lower level energies can allow you to then breathe and rise that energy up and down the Kundalini. Up and down the Kundalini. Which eventually the top is above the head itself. The difference in a Venus and Aries and Venus and Scorpio is so grand that the best I can do is drop a Venus and Scorpio video that I made for you. Because I'll go way too off topic. It's a big ass difference, actually. Venus and Scorpio. Oh crap. I don't even know what the hell did I... Okay. Well, for whatever reason, it wants me to show you this one. But that was just a transit. So that ain't the one. I'm not going to do that. That's too much. I'm doing good. I hope you're good as well. Yep. Fine. Good. Awesome seeing you guys chat. Being in the 8th house, getting used to the pain. Yo. Being in 8th house. What is in your 8th house? Elisha. What's in your 8th house? Because when I saw getting used to the pain, I was like, time out. We're stepping away from the pain. That's a lot of what's going down in these transits right now. We're stepping away from the pain. Stepping towards the peace. Venus in Aries eventually leads us to Jupiter in Aries. Okay, so once we value that certain conflict of, hey, look, we're going through these deep healings with Aries and Chiron, then we get into Jupiter in Aries, which will start to do what? Rapidly ascend, rapidly expand. I have a part 1 video of the Jupiter in Aries transit. So I still got to do part 2. I have forecast for that transit. And it was only for the first 6 zodiac signs. Thank you, Fatima, one of our moderators in here, literally in the chat right now. So I thank you so much. I appreciate you for that, because she took the liberty to go ahead and timestamp all of the first 6 zodiac signs so that y'all were able to get a forecast on that for yourself. I would check your rising, obviously, and then I would check your sun for the follow-up, but I would check your progressed rising as well. So I think Fatima as well in here was talking about her progressed rising as Leo. So if your natural rising was, you know, Virgo, I would check the progression. Definitely, if you're new in here, if you can smash that like button, I would really appreciate that. Let's expand what we're doing here. Chiron in Aries means that you are healing parts of your identity. that you have either forgotten or betrayed because of the expectations and the pressure of others. That's the simplest way I can put Aries and Chiron. And that's a good question, Samir, because it's really important as a part of this transit explosion. Once we now value Venus and Aries and understanding that we have to learn how to polish in the midst of pursuing our inner light, which is literally this card. Like, I don't even need to go any further. Like, it's literally this card. If anything, what I will do is I will just read the peacock for you, because it's just too simple. It's just too simple. It's already right there. Jupiter can expand good or bad. If you feed let's say the bad wolf, Jupiter will be like, yeah, let's feed the bad wolf. And it will cross every boundary that the bad wolf have never been able to cross alone without Jupiter's support. So this is Jupiter in Aries. You have to understand. I said the bad wolf in the sense where, like, Aries is still the exaltation of the ego, right? So if we expand on hasty decisions, brutality, because Aries in its low energy is just brutal. It's brutality. It's God of War energy. Understand, like, one of the things is gods don't care about humans. Not really. So what am I saying? They can just like flick you to another universe. Literally, they don't care. It's brutal energy, God of War. So if we don't take the time to really adjust to the inner light, we can get swallowed up by the flashing cameras and the lights. This is the type of energy where people will start to notice their body more. They're going to start to notice, oh, I have a really big butt. Oh, wow, like, you know, my abs are like totally ripped. And they'll begin to use their abs to actually, you know, try to gain the superficial attraction and energy from something like Instagram. And they'll be like, hey, look at me, I'm a hunk. Or like, you know, a woman, and it'll be like, you know, hey, how you doing? Come to my OnlyFans. And it's like, I got no beef against none of that, quite frankly. I really don't. I don't even know what it is. I've never looked at it. So, yeah. Type in Pernell Bobby, inner child. There's an interview that I did with Jalicia. Oh, right here. I have it. I have it. I saw you. Because this is, Samira, it's another one, a really good question, because Jalicia, it actually is called Ready to Play. This was one of my favorite interviews. If anybody that wants to work with their inner child, because that theme has been coming up a lot. And I was talking to my friend about it, and that's a great question, Samir, because, and if you're new like this, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. This is a great question, because the inner child is Aries, right? Like, in its youth, it's Aries. So what's important about that is, as we go through this expansion with Jupiter and Aries coming May 10th, which is only, and all my new people here, happy Mother's Day. If you're in the chat, I want you to say it again. I'm typing it now. Happy Mother's Day. Because, mind you this, without all the mommies out here, none of us exist, right? Ain't none of us born. So I need to stabilize. I see 12 votes on people needing to stabilize at the height of this. Okay, great. We're stabilized. I'll save my last 10 minutes. If you stay for at least 10 more minutes, I will save my last 10 minutes to make sure that we stabilize before I get out of here on my next AstroTherapy session with somebody. So we can definitely do that. Thank you. I'm glad I put that on there for the votes. Inner child work. Okay. How many of you have a name for your inner child? Just go ahead and drop like a heart emoji if you've ever named your inner child, whether in the comments or live on the replay. I did. And I had this conversation with one of my mentees just the other day. Thank you, Fatima, for the Happy Mommy's Day. Thank you, Samir. I learned this technique when I was living in Asia, to just take a moment to name your inner child, you know? And then people sometimes ask, well, what do I name my inner child? Is it just like my name? And it's like, it's your inner child. Like, no one can tell you that. Like, your inner child is what it wants to be. And understand, like, it works and operates like a real kid, right? So what does that mean? Kids don't always talk to you when you want them to talk. especially if you are like pretty much 99% of people on the planet, including me, who have somehow unconsciously, accidentally, without your knowledge, abandoned your inner child. Everybody abandons their inner child. We don't know better until we do. And so what am I saying? I took the time to name my inner child. This is really important. I am an Aries, and I think it changed my life. And I recognized that my inner child was really, really shy. I didn't want to come out, right? Didn't want to come out, didn't want to talk. It was pretty much like, you left me. You left me for all those humans to basically beat on me through psychological manipulation, emotional traumas that were formed because of psychological manipulation, verbal abuse, sexual abuse. And so my inner child was like, and like, even when I say sexual abuse, I'm like, I abused sex at a point. There was a point in my life where I abused sex. It was a terrible and non-sustainable coping mechanism. So like here I am, okay, self-known Scorpio, saying there was a point and phase in my life where I fully just abused sex. I wasn't at this point where I'm like thinking about my, you know, sacred and sexual energy and how it can be used for creating new babies, like creative babies, where, you know, I'm helping people take new starts on their projects. Because like I have a 5th house stellium, so it's like, this is creative energy. But that energy, that Leo type, bold and uniqueness, you know, was completely locked up. Why? Because my second, aka Taurian, relationships were abused through the extremes of sex. Meanwhile, in reality, I'm 7th house Taurus. It's like, we like the ease, calm, harmonious, and sensitive approach in relationships, slowly building them through long term, versus what I was doing, falling into the Aries narrative. Okay, this is really important for Venus and Aries to understand it. As an Aries, I'm a triple Aries, so like in those younger unevolved stages, it's like I never thought anything. I was never taught anything. I was never told anything, and I acted on everything. Just, oh, I want that. My germs. I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good question, whoever gave that question. And I do thank y'all for those thumbs up. I see y'all liking the video. Y'all really dope for that. I'm going to read you this one peacock definition. Understand that when we then go into Jupiter and Aries and we begin to, this is why Pisces had to come first. Because Pisces had to allow us to rest long enough to get enough intuition and our dreams to show us what do we need to know. For me, it was about, thank you, Hopeless. Thank you. I appreciate you. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all y'all out there. Really, tremendously. One of the things that I had to do with like Pisces, dreams, surrender, was about the dream I had coming out of the desert towards the drums. Now, coming out of the desert is what? Coming out of isolation. So coming out of isolation, Aries is a very isolated sign. It's a very selfish sign by nature. Okay. But if you are not naturally a selfish person, this transit will be, excuse me, marvelous for you. If you've always been so selfless and giving in a way where you hurt yourself because you've given so freely and so naively, quite frankly, this transit is beautiful for you. Venus in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, the expansion of yourself and your identity of who you are for yourself, even then as the shadow side of who you are, then in relationships, you have to know yourself and create your own frame first before you hop into relationships. You feel me? What's up, Oracle? I see you, girl. I do have another event coming. You know, if y'all check in the top comments, the Angel Reiki class, I'm helping you to close some doors. I just dropped the inner child video for y'all right there. So, well, a little bit up the chat. Feel free to check that. But if I get back to the point, damn, I completely lost my train of thought. Where the hell was I? That's why Jupiter in Pisces and all this Pisces energy had to come first, to help us surrender so that we can embrace what unconditional love looks and feels like. And for me, part of that was when I was coming out of the desert, coming out of isolation, Scorpio, aka revealing certain secrets that I'm literally telling you some of them right now. Like, you know, I may say certain things on here like with pure confidence because it just is who I am. But that doesn't also mean that a lot of this stuff is new. Generally, when I'm talking and I'm revealing certain things here, literally live on the internet, they're new. They're literally like, I've never told people these things. Mind you, like I am, regardless of how you see me as a leader or not, I am also going through my own healing journey. Honestly, probably more than most of you in here, because I am a triple Aries. Sun, Moon, and Mercury. So like Aries and Chiron has been on my booty for years. Like, let's be real about that. It's been on it for years. And now it's like I'm a Scorpio rising. So we got South Node in Scorpio too. It's like, oh, yes, just bend me over. Just bend me over. So this Venus in Aries is now what comes after Pisces, where it's like, great, you've surrendered. You know what you were forced to sacrifice. Pisces, everything prior. Mars and Pisces, Mars, Venus, Neptune. You already know what that sacrifice looks like. And thank you, Kaisha. I appreciate you. So now it's like, what will you choose to decide as an individual? Because you are basically on your own with these transits, Venus in Aries, Jupiter in Aries. You are expanding yourself, Jupiter. You're valuing yourself, Venus. You are taking action on yourself when Mars goes there later, after it leaves Pisces. You're going to take action and assert yourself. But it had to happen in this order, because if Mars had came first, we would all be a bunch of tyrants. Honestly, we'd be walking around here with the big stick in hand. Finally learning to put myself first. Ah, see, look at that. I didn't even see that. I feel that. Yup. Thank you. Thank you for being the observer. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been enjoying being selfish. Yes. And this is what's great. It's more than okay. Like I said, you know, if only for someone like me, it's about like, because I am naturally Aries, it's about being selfless. Diving more into my practices, martial arts, meditation, yoga. You have to learn to really value working this energy, okay, out of your head. Aries is the head. And you can do that through multiple ways. You can talk, like right now, like part of how I'm working the energy out, like I said, the Aries symbol is what? What was the Aries symbol? Oh, crap. It's the tongue. It's the tongue. It's the tip of the tongue that charms people. Look at the symbol. As an Aries, I'm releasing shame I have about being naturally selfish. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being, look at that, self-centered. Look at that. I love the name. I even like the spaces that you have in between it. That's pretty cool. Making me want to like spread my shit out. And that's really important. You know what you said? You know, last night, like I said, it went down. It went down in the family for me. And, you know, like I said, some of that stuff was super duper painful. But part of why it went down is because Leo Moon is here and it's like, this is who I uniquely am. And I'm not going to be ashamed of this. I know very clearly now in what ways in my youth did I get psychologically played for a dum-dum. But I'm not a little boy anymore. And eventually these patterns start to add up. And it's like, okay, because I am separating and moving forward into my own path over these years, this is my home I grew up in. Because I'm separating from the path over the years. And then certain patterns stay the same in my own family dynamic. It becomes more and more obvious. It's like I have eyes. I have a new eye as well that I have way more access to. And it can see a lot of the foolery and authenticity. And I refuse to be ashamed to speak, feel, and act on the truth, regardless of what that cost me. If there's a loss involved, one, it means that I only loved so deeply, so no one can take that from me. No one can say that I didn't love my family and otherwise. And also at the same time, no one can say that I lied. Now, if it takes time for others to accept the truth, where they have to consider me inauthentic, part of being shamelessly myself, Venus in Aries, valuing the step away, aka the step inward. Stepping away in a scenario, stepping in. Okay, so I see the primary in the comments says that we would like to ground and stabilize. I need to stabilize, so let's do that. Because in 14 minutes, I have my one-on-one AstroTherapy session. So, in order to do that, I'm gonna ask these dice. I have some Astro dice here. I'm gonna ask it to guide us and what is required. Thank y'all for being so active in the comments. Thank y'all for liking this video. Ooh. Wow. I got North Node, Scorpio, second house. I got North Node, Scorpio, second house. I love these dice. It's been a while since I used them. So I'm going to ground us on unmasking the extreme values this meditation, or whatever I do, I don't know if it's going to be a meditation, will lead us towards direction, purpose and direction of unmasking the extreme and traumatic and even unconscious ways that we assert our values on others. Because that is what's causing the stress. This is Rahu in Aries. Rahu in Aries is happening all 2022. This is the dragon's head. This is North Node. It's being an individual does not mean that we have to force feed our values down somebody else's throat. Because it's all about the inner light. So when we're not doing that, that's how we get out of balance. All right. Here we go. I want to have you just open your chest. Take a normal breath for yourself. We're going to stabilize based off the votes. I see 38%, which is 11. I'm a life path 11. Okay, this is my favorite. This is my favorite one to stabilize. It's quick, it's efficient, but it'll help to. If we're talking, Samir said earlier, Venus in Scorpio and Venus in Aries. Okay, this video is about a Venus in Aries transit. Great. The opposite in Mars is what? Feminine energy, Scorpio, Venus and Scorpio, Mars and Scorpio. So I'm going to pair this and say that the masculine presence is Aries, the feminine is Scorpio. Okay. I want to have you slap your face like this. We're going to bring the two unconscious feminine and masculine energies into balance. Okay. Go ahead and slap the forehead. And I want you to open your chest. And I want you to literally say to your third eye, look up towards the sky, even though your eyes are closed. I want you to say, open. Take a moment to notice the micro shifts. And I hope we gave it a good tap. And sometimes it can be a little stubborn, especially if it was closed for a long time. So if you need to again, say, open. Now right now I have both my hands open to the sky, and I'm allowing myself to stabilize by receiving this upgrade into my new identity, to valuing myself, to valuing being shameless to be myself, to value that little light that's really a big bright light that I discovered in the darkest of places, where I traveled inwards to the city of hidden gems. I would like for you to imagine a yellow light that becomes very bright. Notice your breath become silent, soft, and effortless. You may receive these blessings. And to balance out the masculine and the feminine, whatever, you take 2 fingers and place it on your third eye. And take your thumb and place it on your nostril. So the nostril that is now open and free, I would like for you to inhale. As I receive through the feminine nostril, I'm going to take my ring finger and close my nostril as my thumb opens. My opposite ring finger is closed, and I'm going to exhale slowly. More just allowing the air to escape. As I take an inhale through the thumb side, soft, quiet, effortless. I'm going to switch my fingers and close one nostril as I open the ring. Exhale out the feminine side. This is the destruction. Release. So we can then inhale the beauty. Inhale. And we get ready to close the ring finger. I open the thumb. And with a clear mind, I release the values that no longer belong. I release the extremes. And through the masculine, I would like to inhale this clear new identity that I do value, one of peace over pleasure. As you close the thumb, begin to open the ring finger. And here comes the feminine intelligence of destruction. And release everything that maybe brought you pleasure, but stole your peace. Now, I find this to be important. You have to understand that right now, one of your channels are open. So you tell it, close. I made an emphasis on tapping it, and if it's stubborn, yes, the tap can be what it is. It's very useful. But as you continue to practice, you can just say open. You can just say close. But when you're practicing magic with the K, it does help to discover what is your command. It could be a snap, it could be a tap, whatever. You know, you have to discover that and get comfortable with that for yourself. I essentially took the moment to create and destroy new values and old values by combining your masculine and your feminine energy to have a moment to come into unison. My greatest hope in the moment is that everything is clear. about who you are now. Thank you for joining this Venus in Aries transit explosion part 2. Check part 1. It's only 19 minutes, but it gives you some good information that I didn't necessarily explain today. Excuse me. And I would like for you definitely all to be a part of the next thing we do, which is this angel Reiki for an eclipse event. I got some special guests coming in to teach, to share. If you're fresh and you're new on this, definitely hit the thumbs up and like. I officially have 4 minutes to eat the rest of my oatmeal and then take on my next client meet. So I shall tap you out and say thank you. Sayonara. Big love. Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. Can y'all just say Happy Mother's Day one more time? Let's just energetically support each other as a little tribe. Okay, the moon is in Leo. This is our tribe. This is our most unique tribe. Like, it fits us. Absolutely. I hope y'all get to take that energy and do something beautiful with it today. Happy Mother's Day. Even if you don't like your moms, just say Happy Mother's Day. Even if you don't like your sister and she's a mother, don't forget about her. Your clients, your boss, don't forget about them. Just say Happy Mother's Day. It's time to let go of all that hate and animosity. Nobody has time for that crap. Yeah. Thank you. I love you. And I'm going to take on this meeting. Ciao.